In this video, we'll see how to create a prompt, and the same time we'll ask the AI to read the prompt, and we'll see how the AI is reacting. If you'll see, this is my prompt, right? What is our task? Our task is to create a Terraform KMS module including validation, right? And here, if I'll write a big prompt, right, it is very difficult to understand for the users or viewers. For that reason, I have divided the big prompt into small prompts so that you can experience how the prompt you can write by your own, and in the same prompt how the AI is reacting. Now this is called my step 1. Step 1 is basically you have to set the role for the AI. You have to set a role. Okay, what you want to achieve here. Now this is called my Terraform project. I am clearly setting that you are a senior DevOps engineer, or you act as a senior DevOps engineer, Terraform expert, and AWS security engineer. What is the project objective? Okay, I have to tell, right, to AI what it will achieve at the end. I'm clearly telling, create a Terraform based AWS KMS security validation project focused only on symmetric keys. I'm not creating any other keys. At the end, it will create a Terraform based AWS KMS security validation project based on the project will show how KMS key policy and IMA policy work. The next one is I have to tell what is the goal of this project. Okay, the project is it will create a reusable AWS KMS module for symmetric keys. It should be reusable. It can be reusable by people. A local module local test. Okay, also I am telling create a test folder. Once the module is created, you just cross verify with the positive test and negative test. Also I have to perform some test cases, right? Then only I can publish to my team. And also I'm telling what it will, when it is creating the project, right, when it will create the Terraform script, what resources it will focus, or what parameters of that KMS it will focus. I'm clearly telling symmetric KMS key, create KMS alias, IMA role for validation, KMS key policy, IMA policy, positive test commands, negative test commands, and cleanup instruction. This is about the project overview. This is not about create something. I'm telling, I'm setting the goal for the AI. Okay, this is about the project. First of all, when you are writing any prompt, you should focus more on the you have to first set the role for the AI. The next step I'm telling, okay, when it will going to create a Terraform module, it should follow some folder structure. It will follow some folder structure. Now you can see there is no folder called module here, right? I'm clearly telling to the Terraform, to the AI, when you are creating the folder structure, follow this structure. First of all, you should create a folder called modules. Under the modules, you should create another folder called KMS and add all your KMS Terraform related files here. Also create another folder for test. These folders or these files will be only used for which purpose? Testing purpose. Next one is also I'm create a readme.md file so that the user of the Terraform, once the module is published globally, the person who will use this module, they can easily understand about this module, how they can use it and all. Next one is my testing. What testing I am doing, whether the test cases and all, that should be there in the test.md. Okay, now this is about the complete will use this structure. Okay, now let me tell here, this is called my AI. Okay, now look here. If you see here, Codex is configured in the Visual Studio. I'm just telling here, let us execute steps 2. Step 2, what it follows? What is the goal of step 2? It will just create a folder structure. It will not do anything. It will just create the folder structure. Now let me enter. Look here. So step 2 means it is going to this step 2 file. I will execute only step 2, create plant Terraform project skeleton, exactly the training flow. It is reading that this prompt and it is automatically identifying what user is trying to do. It is clearly telling. Okay, now look here. It is creating a it is creating a folder. This is called my folder structure, right? Module KMS. Under the KMS folder, you can see these called the files. The files are created. Also, inside the test, it is creating the test files. There is nothing. The file is empty now because I did not tell in the step 2 what it will do. Just I told create a folder structure. Next one is, now let me go to the step 3. Let me minimize this module. Now this is called my step 3. The steps 3 basically reusable KMS module prompt. This step prepares the prompt that will later create the reusable Terraform module under the module KMS. Okay, I'm again telling, okay, under this KMS folder, these are the files are present. Okay, files the prompt will eventually create main.tf and all. Next one is create the reusable Terraform module files under the module KMS. I'm clearly telling under the KMS module, this module must create KMS key, KMS alias. That means it is about the implementation plan. Okay, now I created all the files. What is the next step? Inside the file, you should have some content, right? That is about this content I'm telling here. Create this content. KMS user. KMS key must use these parameters. Enable key rotation, configuration, deletion windows, configuration. In the first slide we saw, right? It's the same thing again I'm prompting here to my AI. Now let us execute step 3. So what it will start creating the real files, real content inside the files. What files it will create? It will create everything here, right? It should create the AWS KMS key, AWS KMS alias, enabled key rotation, deletion windows, alias name. It will start creating. Now you can see here, I will execute step 3, only fill the reusable KMS module under module KMS while the review test. Okay. Now just look here. This is called about the prompt 3. It is also I'm adding here all Terraform syntax must be valid. This is about the this module creates AWS KMS key, alias. This is about your prompt 3. Now it is taking, right, because look, I have configured the client, right, Codex client. Internally it is connecting to the server, then it will start creating the, now look here, it is start creating the files. Okay, content inside the files. Sorry, not test, it should be in the main.tf. Look here, it is start creating the actual Terraform script. This is about the 3. I am clearly telling now just create the real implementation in the step 3. Also it is creating the, now it is output.tf is not created, it is creating. It will take some time to create. So it is reading the prompt. The prompt is, this is called my prompt, step 3. It is reading the prompt and it is as per the prompt instruction, your AI is start creating the real content. Okay. Next one is called, okay, let me pause some time because it will take some time to create the entire context or entire Terraform script. Once it is created, then we will start the resume the session again. You will see here all the 4 files change. It is giving the complete description about what it did in the step 3. It created the provider.tf, variable.tf, main.tf, local and output, right? So it did not do anything else. If you see, I did not specify in my step 3 prompt about the test folder. That's why all the test files are empty now. All the test files are empty now. Let me go to the step 4. Step 4 basically, this is a contract, right? This is about your KMS policy behavior. This step explains the KMS policy behavior before any Terraform code is created. The key policy is the most important part, right? Otherwise, it can be, your key can be compromised with unauthorized people. That's why, now my step 4, let me minimize this one. Okay. The step 4 prompt basically, it is talking about the creation of IMA permission, okay, and its role, I mean boundaries, right? Who can access your KMS key? This is the policy must include root account administrative access. That means the admin can access the year KMS key, the KMS key, validation admin role access, application role, crypto access, audit role, read role access, explicitly deny for the denied role. This policy must demonstrate least privilege. This is about your prompt related to IMA policy, so that you can access the so that you can restrict the access of KMS key. Okay, here how many policy documents it will create? Basically 5 policy document it will create. Okay, now let me tell to execute the step 4. Let us execute step 4. That means what it is doing in the step 4, it is reading this file, because the step underscore 04, right, it is just doing a match, then it is understanding. Okay, then it is reading the instructions. This instruction is called prompt. Then as per my instruction, then AI is creating the, or it is doing the real implementation. Now look, I will execute step 4 now. This step is about tightening and documenting KMS policy contract. So I am reading its exact instruction before touching the module. It is clearly telling, first it will read, then it will analyze, then it will do the real task. Clear? Okay, now it will take some time. Okay, now it just look here, it is creating the policy document. Okay, now if you see here in the right side, go to the module KMS. Now which file it is creating? main.tf, right? Now go to the main.tf. This is the policy document it is creating, who can access and all, right? This is the step 4. Now the task is done. Okay, 2 files it is created. One is called local.tf. Now go to the locals.tf and see, this is about the policy, IMA policy instructions for the AWS. Now I'm not executing any Terraform script. I'm just preparing my context. I'm preparing my Terraform script. Later it will be execute. When I will give the prompt, that time it will execute. Now let me go to the step number 5. Step number 5, basically, this is steps explains the validation test stack that will eventually live under KMS test. Okay, if you see now also, right, now let me expand here. Still there is nothing in my test folder. There is nothing in my test folder. So this KMS, this is the prompt, right? Step 5 prompt basically talking about the test, how you can test this module. When you test, what points you should consider. Now look here, the test stack is separate from the reusable module. Your reusable module is main module KMS, and you are creating a separate folder for the test purpose, right? Create a module stack under module KMS test that consume the KMS module from the parent directory. That means once this module, the test module will call this KMS module, and it will do the, it will start creating this main module. Create these IMA roles. Okay, again I'm telling, create these 5 IMA roles. Each role must have a trust policy that allows current AWS account to assume the roles. Now here it is telling, okay, so this is about your test, right? Now let me scroll down, and this context, right, when it will start creating the Terraform for the testing purpose, all the context Terraform script will be added here in this file. This is a validation stack, right? Now testing naming rules, I'm clearly telling all the validation only items should be use clear test prefix, so that people can easily understand, right? This is not for usage, this is for testing purpose that engineer created. Next one is the role one test. I will also tell, right, when to start creating the IMA role, identity access management role, I have to clearly specify the permission boundary. The admin role proves that a trusted administrator can manage the KMS key expected permissions. The admin can only perform this type of activities. Then it will expected positive. Admin can describe the key, enable key rotation, can disable the key rotation. Then role number 2 is for the application engineers. Application engineers, I am clearly telling, create another role for application engineer and test whether they can encrypt, decrypt, re-encrypt and generate the data keys. Also, the positive test case and negative test case. This is about the test cases, right? Now let us execute the step number 5. That means your AI will read this prompt. As per the prompt instruction, it will start doing the real implementation. Now if you see the KMS test folder, it is directly going to the KMS test folder, right? Because the instruction is given here. Okay. Now let me pause the video, then I'll come back. Now look here. So now your step 5 is completed. Once step 5 is completed, if I'm going to my test folder, now just look here. It was previously empty, right? Because my step 5 prompt is basically more into test related IMA role policy and all, right? That's why also you can see it is also creating a test readme. The context also added here, test readme, right? It is giving clear instruction what test it will do, right? The next step is, once test is ready, now let me go to the step 6. Step 6 is, now your test folder is ready, your main folder is ready. What is the next? Next is called your validation workflow. Now it is clearly telling to do the validation what output is required. Suppose now I have to check something, right? I should assume the role. I should have, for layman point of view, I am telling, you should have KMS key ID, right? First point. Second thing is, what is the next? You should have role assume. Then only you can do test. Role assume means either you can act as a audit role engineer, application engineer, or some other engineer. So this is the instruction about the how to do the output for validation. Okay. Now let us execute step 6. Let me wait for some time. Okay, now you will see my step 6 is completed. This is basically the output format, right? When you will do some testing, then how the user will see the output. Next one is, I have to set the positive test cases and negative test cases, right? For that reason, I have to tell to AI, can you configure AWS CLI commands for these positive scenarios? So what is that positive scenario? Admin role can describe, enable, disable, encrypt, decrypt, generate. This is called my positive test case for the admin role. Once someone will assume the admin role, what they can do on that KMS key. Okay. The next one is, it is clearly telling for each test include, this is very important, role to assume. First it will assume that admin role, then exact AWS CLI command, expected the success result. The next one is, so the user should then assume role at the time with AWS STS assume role. By calling this API or STS, then it can assume the role. Important safety point, the documentation should avoid printing secret access key for, look, I have to authenticate with my AWS, right? By using some programmatical user. That secret access key should not be displayed on the screen. That's also you should consider, right? It should not display. Then positive cases and negative cases. This is basically the positive cases, right? If you I am scroll down here, this is about the application can, how many roles I am focusing here? 3 roles and the remaining is deny, right? First one is called audit, or sorry, admin role. Next one is called your application role. Third one is called your audit role. Fourth one is deny role. Then this is the command basically it is used to check the testing whether it can pass or fail. Now in the step 8, this is about the negative test cases, right? In the negative test case means application role cannot disable the key. Application role only can, what it can do, only encrypt, decrypt, right, get the data key. This is about the negative test cases, and I'm clearly also mentioning then how you can perform the negative test cases. So I'm telling, use the AWS CLI command, AWS KMS disable key. This is the exact command internally it will be used to check whether it can do, whether negative tests are passing or not. Expected result, accept, denied, exception. Next one is application cannot scheduled key deletion. That is the next step, right? Now this is the exact command to do the scheduled key deletion. Okay, this step 7 and 4, 8 is basically to do the KMS testing. Now let me ask to execute. Let us, this instruction at the end it is read by whom? Your AI. AI will read this instruction. As per the instruction, it will start doing the task. Let us execute step 7 and step 8. Step 8. So what it will do? It will start creating the, your, it will preparing the AWS commands. It will prepare what? It will prepare the valid test cases. It will also prepare the negative validation cases. Okay. Now we will see my step 7 is completed. What is the next step? What is the, you can see, right, this now it is clearly written the commands for you, how you can do, right? Why it is doing, look, right, why I am creating this file you can use in later also, right? Suppose if you want to manually test by your own, you should not worry about that, right? This everything is ready. Now you just copy and check that whether the KMS is really, the policy is really working as expected or not. The last step is, this is the important step, the real implementation. Okay, now let me, real implementation means it will, what it will do, the all the step 1 2 3 everything is ready now. Now it will start creating the KMS module. It will do the validation, and the validation report it will store somewhere in the file. Okay, this is about the step 9. Now step 9 is basically apply the created module on AWS. Now let us start. Okay, you just go through the step 9. This is the entire workflow. Configure AWS credential. Now it will start doing the real implementation, real infra creation on AWS. Real Terraform outputs, validation rules, positive test, negative test, review CloudTrail events. These the steps it will be done by the, in the step 9. Now let us start execution of step 9. Execution of step 9, right? Step 9 is real implementation. Whatever the files, Terraform script you created, validation, everything. Now it will start doing the real implementation so that you can tell, okay, this module is ready to use. Now look here, the test result is success, right? Now implementation is done and step 9 also completed. Once the step 9 is completed, you can see it is creating a validation report.md. If you will go through this validation report, it is clearly telling what KMS key is created and everything. This is called your KMS validation and all. Now this KMS key is created, and this is the positive test results. For the admin role, application encryption, Admin can disable the key rotation completed with no error pass. And this is the negative results. Okay. Once your all the validation is success, now you can publish this module. This is your module, right? Now you can publish this module so that people can use it. This is about your AI Terraform automation using AI.